breaks my heart. It breaks my heart every time it happens. But it's really, we have music blaring. We're crowded, and we have a milkshake machine going on behind me. I can't hear stuff. So someone will tell me their name, and I genuinely cannot hear. It genuinely sounds like nothing to me. And I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, what was that? And then they'll repeat something that was like not their name. Like they'll be like, oh, what's your name? And they'll say something, and I don't know. They'll change it to something simpler or more American sounding, and that always breaks my heart. So I'm like, no, I didn't mean like I didn't know what your name was. I just genuinely couldn't hear you. You can tell me like.
I hate that I have too, where there will be moments when like, I'm sorry, I'm asking you this for the third time, but for some reason my ears just aren't cooperating with me today.
And it hurts me. Like, I'm so sorry. You really don't have to change your name. Like, I promise I can spell it. I just genuinely couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Like, it's annoying on us because, like, all the registers are right next to each other. So, like, I'll ask the person's name, and then the person working next to me asks their customer their name. And, like, then I'll hear the other customer's name instead of theirs. I'm thinking that.
Okay, anyway, now then, let's begin the Stanley Parable.
What kind of game is this?
It's more of an experience and one without a fourth wall.
Does it have a genre?
It's hard to describe without spoiling the surprise.
We'll figure it out as we go along.
You'll figure it out within 5 minutes,
Are there
depending
things
on...
that happen in this game that could not happen within the realms of our own reality?
Yes.
So it's either sci-fi or fantasy.
Or if you want to boil it down to
I'm just curious about what's gonna
It's
happen.
sci-fi?
Or is it magical realism? Is it?
Depending on how we play
Is it like
it.
a crack thing?
The more you ask, the more likely it is that she's gonna have to spoil something.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
Let's do it.
the experience was spoiled for me, but I still genuinely enjoyed it. But I want you guys to
Let's just figure it out
experience
as
the
we go
first
along.
time with this.
I was gonna say, speaking of names, I got this guy yesterday, and his name was Adolf.
Oh.
And like, it's probably fine because everyone who hears it probably has the same reaction. Like, oh, dude.
It's like, I think that used to be a common name.
No, it
before
did,
World
it
War
did.
II.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like
It fell out of style.
And then
One man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor.
My kind of job. That's like.
Yeah.
So that's actually a really nice setup. You usually get tiny packed little spaces that work.
This is what
Yeah.
employee 427 did every day.
Like, I have to stand on my feet for 12 hours with no break, dealing with people yelling at me. I would love to sit
Considered
there,
it
to
so
be honest.
Stanley relished every moment of the orders.
Thank you, Stanley, for appreciating your cushy life.
It's a really nice office.
It's not decorated, though.
Was happy.
But still, as far as offices go,
I would
The
cover
office
it
mate.
And then one
with
day,
tiny,
something
as
very
many
peculiar
tiny
happened.
collectibles as I could.
Something
even
that
where
would
like my
forever
mom worked,
change
like it'd be
Stanley.
like a room that
Something
size.
he would never
We have 3
forget.
people in there.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
I thought you were playing with the trap pad for a second. What time is it? What? Oh, it's almost noon? Or is it 10?
It looks close to like between 10 and 11.
You think it's almost 10? Well, it's been at work for almost an hour. So I'm probably coming at 9 or 9:30, right?
Yeah.
Is that what time pencil movies go to work?
sorry, what's eating.
9 to 5.
Also, right.
That's the dream. None of this 10 to midnight.
It really,
BS.
I really do hate talking about it, but that really is the dream.
Honestly.
Like, I've never been...
But I think because of our part-time experience, especially yours, it conditions you to want that 5 to 9.
Oh, dude, that was my dream when I was like 5 years old. Like...
I still want freedom. I'm
I
like,
don't know if you guys have to
I don't want to work in an office for my career, but it actually looks kind of nice.
You can have like, you can have 9 to 5.
Alright.
I know, yeah, I know. But offices are air conditioned, and you don't have to talk to anyone.
Unless you have the answer phone.
Yesterday, a woman screamed, and I didn't scream, like at me because she wouldn't get off her phone
All
while
this
I was
time
trying to take her
was
order, and
gone.
she didn't know what I was saying.
What
Yeah, I
did he
feel
She was like,
Stanley
walking, she's like,
decided
what?
to go to the
What?
meeting.
What are you doing?
Perhaps
What?
he
Why are you
was
doing that? And I was like, because you didn't, like, you're on your phone and you won't look at me. Anyway,
So,
game.
one of you guys has to say, though, please look up what the other achievements for this game is.
Yeah.
That will give you a good idea of the tone of this game.
Do I have to? But I have to use my data to look up the Church of Scientology.
Dude,
Fine,
I'm
then I'll
still-
hand you my phone and you
Oh,
can
yeah.
use my data.
I'm still mad that like my data resetting daily.
You guys have seen them post where it's like, oh, you know, my data's at like 2%. I guess that's an advantage of being
That is so mean.
It's so real. You just end up reading things.
And it's usually something as stupid as that, too.
Last
When
night before I
Stanley
went to
came
bed,
to
I
a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So, are we gonna do as the narrator says?
One of these games.
Or ignore it?
Yeah.
First of all, I used to mention that last night before I went to bed, my phone was at 8%, and I read a really, really long blog post about the Death Chamber song from Sonic. Because
So,
I had
hold
to.
on.
Anyway.
We're going to the left?
Yeah.
No. Man, you guys are goody goodies. What if the narrator's leading you astray?
That's what I want to find out.
This isn't. I haven't seen where this path leads to. I had.
You wanna
Like,
go
I've
right?
done everything else on my own.
I know what we want to do.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
So no matter what we do, the narrator will change it to make it seem like it's what he originally wanted us to do.
Now you'll see if we do multiple goes of this.
PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Did it say sick or slick?
That PowerPoint slide
Coming
like
to a
made my
staircase, Stanley walked
like,
upstairs to
every
his boss's office.
Are we just gonna follow the narrator to the end
No.
to make stuff easier?
How about every other time?
Hold on.
Do we eventually have to go to his office?
Depending on how many options we exhaust.
Because if
What would
Working
be
under
the
the
most
assumption-
amusing way?
I always assume that no one in this room has played what we're playing, and I just ask what naturally comes, and I forget that people have played it. It makes life really
I've
hard.
never even heard
You
this
two
before.
have, so.
No, Jenna hasn't.
Oh, you talked like you did. Sorry.
No, I just moved the name.
So, are we going to the boss or are we going to see what's downstairs?
I think we should follow the narrator to the end. But that's just me.
Good.
Eric, have you weigh in?
No, I agree.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are
What a nice office.
It's not a nice office.
It's actually terrifying.
You were gonna say that too?
No, that's what I usually say in an interview.
Oh.
Stepping into his
I
manager's
legitimately
office,
mean it looks like.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Real quick, the office looks like Bioshock and no one's here. Maybe everyone was raptured.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
We'll never know because you're pretty goodies.
Hey, I was just offering my suggestion. Eric and I.
Now,
are just
here's the thing, though.
50%.
Each path takes maybe 5 to 15 minutes, so we can just
Oh.
rapid fire through them.
Well, it's a button. It clearly needs to press. Oh, these are the exact same elevators that we have in the mall. They are terrifying. That's the exact same elevator, and I've been trying describing it to people. So I'm glad that exists. Big freight elevator, big clunky metal wall. You're just sitting there with a dumpster full of trash.
Who wants to finish off the cookies?
I'm alright.
You do. You do.
Oh,
Do it.
I was asking to be polite.
No, I'm good.
Okay, just making sure.
I think it's really nice how you always ask to stay over here.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.